Thank you so much. It's lovely to see a packed house of 100 participants. I've only done physical sessions with 100 participants, but so thrilled that all of you have taken out time. The conversation around this entire session is going to be awareness around different menstrual products and the choice of menstruators to make that product available for them, both in terms of affordability, in terms of accessibility, and in terms of how to use a particular period product. I see a lot of non-menstruators uh, also join the session. It's really great to have you all here. Hoping that all of you become period allies to your moms, to your girlfriends, to your wives, to your friends, to your sisters, to your relatives. Okay. So we'll move forward with the session very quickly. So if you can see on your screen, this is what the reproductive system of a menstruating person looks like, right? This entire piece is the reproductive system. Each menstruating person has two ovaries, two fallopian tubes left and right, a uterus, the cervix, and the vagina. I'm hoping that since all of you are from Rotary Club members and students in your first, second, or third years, I don't have to talk about why a menstruator gets period. In case somebody still has queries, we'll take them towards the end. So there are 400 million menstruators in India. The reason I'm using the term menstruators is because it's a more inclusive term. So if Nitisha, I was born a female at birth, okay, and I identify as a female as well. So I am a cisgender female. If Nitisha was born a female at birth, but now Nitisha does not identify as a female but as a male or as an intersex person, means I don't have a sex, then I am either an intersex person or a transgender person. If I was born a man at birth, but now I identify as a woman, then I am still a transgender person. Or if I don't identify as any gender, then I am a intersex person. These definitions are important, and through the scope of the presentation, we'll find out why. So, generally, I do a quick poll on Zoom for this, but I'll just take, if you can type in your comments, what is the period product that you use during your menstrual cycles? If you all of you can type in the chat box. For people who don't get their periods, you can type what your sisters or your moms or your girlfriends or your friends use, or any product that you know about. I will not accept no response. So I'm going to stop sharing screen and look at the comments as well from time to time. Because otherwise you all will get very bored just hearing me all the time. Are there comments coming in the chat box? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. People are commenting.
Okay, great. Now, why do menstruators prefer a certain period product? So I was 13 and in my 7th standard winter vacation when I first got my periods. My mom, who's a 12th pass homemaker, she told me how to use the sanitary napkin, which is the single-use disposable sanitary napkin. And we never spoke about why I was having my periods. It was not until my biology class in standard 9 and 10 did I really understand that, okay, I am not the only girl to have periods, and there are other people out there. And one of the reasons to start using this period product was at the time, this is all that we knew about. Also, our grandmothers, like my nani and my dadi, they used to use cloth. And suddenly, after this, in the last 20 years, cloth had become very unhygienic. So my mom was also using the disposable sanitary napkins, and so was I. And I used this until I was 25. right? I'm currently 30, so only until in the last 4 5 years have I understood why I should be making a switch. So why did I use this single-use product? Because it's easy to use. You can just use it, wrap it, throw it. It's not my problem anymore. Some of these brands also came with a very nice fragrance, so or so they put in their advertisements. Also, these are leak-proof pads, so they don't stain or they hardly stain, and just easy to use. It has wings, it smells good, and it's supposed to be hygienic. However, all of these so-called hygienic factors are actually unhygienic. I'm sure you're reading the text that's there on the presentation, so I'll move on to the details of why a single-use sanitary napkin is unhygienic. So what is there in a single-use conventional period product? Okay, these are the 4 5 main chemicals that are there. Number one is acetone, which is there in your nail polish remover. It also has styrene, which is present in tires. It also has polyethylene, because this period product that you see in my hand right now is 90% plastic. So polyethylene. If you see the color, or people who have used the sanitary pad know that it looks really, really white. However, traditionally, the cotton that is available, if you go to a cotton field or a cotton farming unit, you will see the cotton is peachish in color, very creamish or yellowish in color. To make this look this white, the entire cotton is bleached. Some of these pads also come with a blue dye gel in between, which is also a very prominent chemical in a single-use period product. Now, why is menstrual waste a menace to society? Right? If you have seen in schools, there have been numerous instances where girls have actually disposed this sanitary pad into the commode of the toilet, right? Or not even wrapped it fully and disposed it in the dustbin, but just left it right lying around the toilet. Who is picking up this waste that you and I are creating? Right? The sanitation workers and the waste picking community. There is a research report by WaterAid that talks about most of the people who are sanitation workers and waste pickers come from Dalit, Bahujan, and Adivasi backgrounds. There is a brilliant organization that is working out of Pune called Swachh Coop. Please do find them out on Instagram and Facebook and see the amazing work that Swachh Coop is doing. And you will know more about what I'm talking. Also, these pads make a very immense component in our landfills. If you have visited or know somebody who's based out of Delhi or Bombay, the largest slum in Asia is in Govandi, which also has the dirtiest landfill. The Ghazipur and the Bhalswara and the Okhla landfills in Delhi are basically illegal. They are as big as that, or the height of the landfill is as big as that of Qutub Minar. Right? Imagine the amount of waste being created by you and me for something that I don't have even control over. I can choose not to use a plastic bottle or plastic straw, but can I really choose not to manage my period? No. So, what is its impact on health? The chemicals that we spoke about, which is present in a single-use sanitary napkin, are two basic compounds, which are phthalates and volatile organic compounds. These compounds, because of the placement of this period product, which is in a very sensitive area of the body and in contact with the skin, can create problems like diabetes, certain cervical cancers. People who have used the sanitary pad know about the rashes and the UTI infections that one might have gone through already. There's also components of brain impairment and certain disabilities that might arise, but all of this is research done by the country of United Kingdom. We don't have money to even do research for menstruating bodies in the Indian geography and climate. So, what is their impact on environment? Now that we have spoken about health, which impacts a menstruator personally, what could be another motivation to actually bring the switch? single-use sanitary pad, like I said, is 90% plastic. So one sanitary pad is actually equal to 4 bags of plastic. Now, I'll urge everybody to take out your mobile phones and calculators and do a very quick calculation. Okay? If one pad is equal to 4 bags of plastic, how many pads do you currently use every month? Nitisha used to use 10 pads every month. So, 4 multiplied by 10. And I'm using it every month, so multiplied by 12, which is the number of months in a year. And on an average, a menstruator does have period for 35 years. So multiply that by 35. What is the number you are getting? I'm also going to do a quick calculation. So number of pads into 4 into 12, which is the number of months, and into 35. So 16,800 plastic bags only generated by Nitisha. Now, if you remember the first slide, there are 400 million menstruators in India, and that is still a ballpark figure, right? If we look at the census that will come hopefully next year or the year after, we will know that there are more than 500 menstruators in India, 500 million menstruators in India, right? So, if you have done the math, could you also share the number of plastic bags that you are generating in the chat box? Right? Every month, this is the amount of waste being generated every month, which is approximately 320 football fields. Right? Imagine all those beautiful stadiums being covered in sanitary pads. And these are not clean sanitary pads, by the way, right? They are all used sanitary pads. I hope you are able to visualize the amount of waste or the mountains of waste that is being generated. So now that I've spoken about the harms of this period product that I personally used for 13 years, what are the potential solutions in the market right now? The 3 solutions that are available are cloth pads, which are reusable. Secondly, menstrual cups, which are also reusable. And period underwear, which again is very, very reusable, washable, recyclable, right? All these 3 period products are number one, very, very cost friendly and easy on our pockets. They are cleaner, greener, and also healthier options for not just our body, but also the waste pickers community and also the planet and our cities. So we're going to talk about menstrual cups. Since I'm not able to see the audience on the screen, I hope everybody is able to hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Just give me a ha, thank you. Kuch bhi bol do so that I understand and all of you are listening. Okay. So this is what a menstrual cup looks like. I converted in 2017. No, I actually converted in 2018. But I knew about menstrual cups in 2017. So it took me a year to research, get information about it, find the best videos, find people I can talk to, and then make the switch. Okay, so number one, it's okay if you are not aware. This workshop is meant to create that awareness, and I'm always going to be there to clear all your doubts. And we'll come towards the being connected to all of you towards the end. So, a menstrual cup, instead of absorbing the period blood, it collects the period blood, right? Like you can see, it's made of medical grade silicone. It lasts for 8 to 10 hours, and I've used it for 13 and 14 hours also. Sometimes when I've been traveling and I've not had access to a public washroom to actually change my cup, right? One cup also stores around 20 ml of period blood, right? So approximately in one period, a menstruator actually bleeds around 3 shot glasses. So 30 ml shot glasses Around 80 to 90 ml blood is what comes out in every period for an average menstruator. There are menstruators who bleed less, and there are also menstruators who bleed more heavily. Okay. So a menstrual cup, before every use, every month, it needs to be sterilized in warm water, right? Put it in a utensil which is made of steel. Put normal, only water in it, boil it, put the cup in it, keep rotating it with a spoon for 2 to 3 minutes, and it's sterilized. It can then be used for 4 5 days or any number of days that your cycle is. And during those days, you don't need to sterilize it. You need to just empty the contents of the cup, wash it with normal water, and again insert it inside your vagina. Now, here, very crucial differences between the cervix and the vagina. Okay, please very carefully look at the screens.
Ma'am, your
Okay?
screen is not visible actually.
Is it visible now?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what does it look like? So image number 1 is where you see the first image, right? 2 ovaries, 2 fallopian tubes. The cervix is the smaller hole towards the upward part, whereas vagina is the actually I can show in this as well, right? So if you see my image, this is what a life-size uterus looks like. A menstrual cup sits in the vagina, and this small outlet is the cervix. So blood trickles down, collects in the cup, which sits in the vagina. Now the cup is not hard, so it will not hurt. Okay, it's very flexible. It's very soft. There are soft cups and hard cups as well, made by different brands. So it is not going to hurt. Number one, unless you have some of the other condition already, which is either vaginismus or endometriosis or PCOD or PCOS. If you already have a lot of pain during your periods, then the cup is something that you have to use very mindfully. Will it come in the way of passing stool or pee? No. If you look at the second image, we have 3 different holes, and when I say we, I mean menstruating people have 3 different holes. The hole number 1 is the urethra, which is used to pass the pee. The second one is the vagina, which is also the place where the penis gets inserted during intercourse or sexual activity. And the menstrual cup goes inside the vagina. The third hole that you see towards the end is your rectum, okay, which is the anus, which is the body part that is used to defecate. So menstruating people actually have 3 holes in their bodies. Now, a cup, like I mentioned, can hold 15 to 20 ml of blood. It doesn't come in the way of passing stool or urine. The 2 different folds that are very popular for the cup, the cup can't go inside just like this. So the 2 folds are the button down fold. This is the button down fold, if it's visible and all of you can see. And the other is the C fold. This is the C fold, right? And how do you insert it? There are 2 ways to do it. You can either squat if you have a commode in the house, sit on the commode, put one leg up in the air a little bit, and then insert the cup inside. Or you can squat. I personally didn't have a commode in my house earlier, so I started using the cup by squatting, and it's much more easier and less messier that way. So I sit down on the floor and I put a little bit of pressure on my pelvic muscles, the way you put pressure when you're constipated, right? And then the cup goes in. Similarly, to bring the cup out, you again have to squat, put pressure, clean your hands before touching your vagina and after touching your vagina. So before touching the cup and putting it inside, please wash your hands. And similarly, after you take out the cup and insert it, please wash your hands. Hygiene is very, very important if you're using a menstrual cup. I know you might have a lot of questions right now, so we'll take and make the session a little more interactive towards the end with Q&A. Now, biodegradable pads. The reason you might have seen there's a lot of conversation about multiple brands that claim to be biodegradable, right? One important thing to note about is the pads claiming to be biodegradable or just are they really biodegradable, right? Is there any information mentioned on how many days will they biodegrade in? Because plastic is also biodegradable, but they degrade in 900 years, right? And actually, plastic never degrades. It only breaks up into finer, smaller microplastics, which makes it easier for them to enter a food cycle, right? So that's number one caution about biodegradable pads. Also, climate change. Also, since Greta Thunberg became this youth icon about climate strike and climate change, there's been a lot of pushed by a lot of brands to go green, right? But is it really in favor for the environment, or is it greenwashing, right? What is greenwashing? Greenwashing is when brands claim to be green but are actually not green and use wasteful materials and create more waste than they are actually saving, right? The second important thing about biodegradable pads is, would you want to compost your pads in your own homes? Because if we are not thinking about the waste that we're generating, we are still creating waste for a lot of the waste, because of manual scavengers and your sanitation community, who will still have to collect that waste from your house or from your society and put it into the landfills, right? Who are we thinking about or caring about is the question to answer. The second thing that we'll talk about is reusable cloth pads. Now you can see two different varieties of cloth pads in my hand. This one, the brands are EcoFem of cloth pads. It looks exactly like a plastic sanitary pad with a leak-proof layer. However, a cloth pad, which is this one, the modern day cloth pad, is made of 100% cotton and is not bleached in nature, right? It has this strap-on button, which again goes inside your underwear, and then the, the period can be managed, the period blood collects here. It's very, very soft, made of organic cotton and contains no chemicals. 100% pure cotton without any chemicals. There are also a lot of YouTube videos that you can see of making a cloth pad at home. A lot of my friends have recently done that and highly recommend that cloth pads are actually much easier for them. The reason of this cloth pad design, which actually looks like a handkerchief, right? It doesn't have multiple layers, but it actually gets folded, right? This also has a leak-proof layer and a button to attach. Now, what happened when people started working in rural areas is because period is still a topic of taboo and shame and stigma. And a lot of menstruators are constantly told that you shouldn't exercise during your period, you shouldn't touch pickle, you shouldn't wash your hair, you shouldn't sit on a particular area in the bed, you have your separate utensils where you eat, you also don't enter the puja room or the temple, right? These are all immense myths around periods that are still perpetuated in our society. Which is why when rural women started using cloth pads need to be soaked in cold water after using. They also need to be used for 4 to 6 hours, soaked in cold water, rinsed again with normal water. You can use soap in case there is any stain, which generally never feels there because it's organic cotton. The stains go away easily, and it can be used. A lot of my friends who are also people living in urban areas, or especially during the rainy season, they soak the cloth pad in cold water, and after soaking, throw the cloth washing machine rinses and dries it as well. So whatever is comfortable, that is something that you can decide. There are also multiple brands available in the market. This is just one brand, which is Kokan brand. And the cups that I spoke about are the food cups. This is the cup that I use and the cloth pad I use, which is why I'm using them as example in my workshop. Similar to plastic pads, cloth pads also need to be changed in 4 to 6 hours and need to be maintained hygienically. So after you use it, wash it, it needs to be dried in sunlight. Now this drying in the sunlight part is what a lot of rural women found it shameful because even in the villages it was not allowed or their husbands might see. So all of those taboos were there. So to help the women, this design was made so that it's easier for people to dry the pad with the sun without any shade of stigma attached. Like it's mentioned in the presentation, one cloth pad is equal to 75 disposable fancy napkins. And each of these cloth pads last also for a minimum of 3 to 5 years, depends on how you're using, washing and maintaining it. So what are your options? These are the multiple menstrual cup and cloth pad brands that are currently available in the market. You can use and try whichever feels comfortable and easier for you to do. They are also come in a varied range of budgets. Some come as cheap as 399 versus some are 1800 to 2000 rupees. However, even if you buy the most expensive cloth pad or menstrual cup, you will be saving money, a lot of money. So to do a little bit of a calculation here, calculate the amount that you are spending on your period needs, which is sanitary pad, other washes that you use every month. Multiply that by 12 and multiply that by 35, right? That for me, that number came to around 20,000 that I will be saving, right? It's a, for somebody like me coming from an average middle class family, 20,000 is a lot of money. So you can do your own calculations to see the amount of money that you will be saving. So the Boon cups come at 700 rupees and the EcoFem cloth pads come at around 600 rupees for 4 pads. So please purchase the cloth pads as a kit, a minimum of 3 to 6 pads, so that you can, when you soak, you can on cloth. Like I mentioned towards the beginning of the workshop is focused on making informed choices. Period is still a taboo, and in a lot of the rural areas, which is most of India, it is a reason for shame and stigma for most menstruators. There is also another aspect that comes here, which is access to a clean and hygienic washroom and clean and hygienic water. There are so many states in the country where water scarcity is a big reality, right? There are so many people who don't have washrooms inside their homes and use municipality washrooms or washrooms that are outside of their houses and they have to travel a certain time. There are also community washrooms in a lot of villages. So all of these are realities. So the workshop is not meant to shame anyone and you have to choose or hey, what are you really thinking about the environment piece that you're generating, but to create awareness, especially in young minds, to start thinking about society and the planet apart from just their own menstruation, right? So all of you must know, like Priya introduced, period is a feminist issue. So why is period, and I call myself a bloody feminist, right? So if you read a lot of research reports, there are 40% of girls who drop out of school once they start getting their period, which is probably around standard 5 and 6, which is high secondary education. So if the girls are not even completing their high school, how are they supposed to go to college? How are they supposed to get a job? Right? So then is period such a big barrier in women actually completing their entire education and finding a job for themselves? there is also a lot of challenge that during the 4-5 days of period, parents don't allow the girls to go to school because either schools are located in not so hygienic places and don't have access to water or a separate girls and boys washroom. So I visited Madhya Pradesh in the district called Satna, and I've visited other. Satna is a tribal state. I am from Jamshedpur, which is also in Jharkhand, which is a heavily tribal state. I have studied in Bhubaneswar, which is Odisha, which is also a lot of, which is also not one of the most progressive states, I would say, in terms of the rural population and literacy rate. And I've also worked in the states of Maharashtra, Andhra, Telangana, and Bengal. I'm currently based in Delhi. And one thing that I've noticed through all of these states is the amount of pressure on girls during their periods, right? Most of the girls don't even know that they've gotten their period or they will get a period, and how should they go about understanding the changes that are happening in their own body, which is what when we say inclusion and social justice, that is what we're talking about. Also, uh, if you look at the current state of because you might be thinking, if Nitisha, if cloth pads and menstrual cups are so great, why is the government not talking about it? Or why are we not seeing ads about these period products on Amazon or on Grocers or on Big the corporate and the government here are actually being a little bit of a barrier in terms of understanding the urgency of climate change. For example, during COVID, especially when in the first wave, a lot of the sanitary pad manufacturers, which are your P&G, Hindustan Unilever, they were all shut down in the first lockdown that India saw. A lot of the migrant population that worked in these factories also started moving back to their home state. So effectively, for 3 months, there was no production of sanitary pads. And after 3 months after that, the factory took a lot of time to even start production in a way where it caters to the entire country. So girls who used to get free period products from school were not getting it. Now, for a family that earns, say, 300 rupees every day on daily wage, and this is most of your daily wage in migrant population, right? Spending 40 rupees, even as less as 40 rupees to buy sanitary pads, or should I buy sanitizer and rice and dal for my children so that they can have food to eat? Why are we making it so difficult for the women and the families to make this choice? As a menstruator, I don't have control whether I get my period or I can stop my period at any time. I cannot, right? This is where period becomes a more political and a very big feminist issue because it is a barrier for girls in achieving their full potential in terms of their education, in terms of their livelihoods, in terms of their own health. And like we have shared here, in terms of the larger climate change and planet Earth and Mother Nature that we are talking about. So I will urge all of you, do take a screenshot of, click a picture, take a screenshot of this slide, and visit these two links to number one, either pledge your period. Now I'm running this pledge your period thing every year because I want people to make the switch, and I know it's not easy, right? Just getting all of the research, all of the information, finding the correct brand, all of that takes a lot of effort and time. So if you pledge your period, or if you pledge, if you're inspired by this session and want to pledge your period, you can pledge to change or green the switch by 2021. You're all in your own houses. Home is the place that all of us feel is safe at, right? So this might be a very great time and opportunity to start talking to your family and friends and making the switch. Once you pledge your period, you'll be added to a WhatsApp support group of other people who have pledged their period, and you'll get to meet them, interact with them. You will also get a one-on-one counseling session with me, to help you understand in case of any challenges and just guide you in the journey of finding the best period product in your sustainable menstruation journey. The second, if you've already made this switch or know somebody who's using a menstrual cup or period underwear or cloth pad, you can share this link with them and share your story. I'm running a campaign on my handle on Instagram called The Bloody Feminist, and I'm sharing and featuring people who are young, passionate about periods and want to make the switch. So these are the two actions that I urge everybody to take. My email address and handle is on this slide.